According to the International Labor Organization, their definition of forced labor is: forced or compulsory labor is all work or service which is enacted from any person under the threat of a penalty and for which the person has not offered himself or herself voluntarily. Right now, there is an estimated of 24.9 million people trapped in forced labor. Forced labor is the type of enslavement used across the world to produce many products in our global supply chains. The fishing, textile, construction, mineral, and agricultural industries are particularly laced with forced laborers. The private economy exploits 90% of the world's forced laborers, meaning that the desire to produce a profit is the largest motivating force behind the institution of slavery. Forced labor is the most common element of modern slavery. It is the most extreme form of people exploitation. It affects millions of men, women, and children around the world. It is most often found in industries with a lot of workers and little regulations. There is a forced labor protocol. Work or service refers to all types of work occurring in any activity, industry, or sector, including the informal economy. Menace of any penalty refers to a wide range of penalties used to compel someone to work. Involuntariness refers to the free and informed consent of a worker to take a job of his or her freedom to leave at any time. Across the world, millions of people are working against their will, exploited for their labor, and treated as no human should be. Some are recruited with promises of decent work and fair pay, and then taken to job sites, often far away from their homes and families, where they are physically barricaded from leaving and threatened if they refuse to work. Others are forced to hand over their passports and other documents essential to their freedom of movement, leaving them at the mercy of their employers. Forced labor can be connected to the Catholic social teaching of dignity of workers and life and dignity of the human person. This quote from Pope Francis from Feast of St. Joseph the Worker and World Labor Day really speaks to the issue of forced labor. The quote is, "Work is fundamental to the dignity of a person. Work, to use an image, anoints us with dignity, fills us with dignity, makes us similar to God, who has worked and still works, who always acts."
There are simple ways to take a stand against forced labor and support fair wages. The main way you can do this in your everyday life is avoiding companies that use forced labor and supporting companies that use fair trade. Some places that use forced labor are Nestle, Nike, H&M, and Walmart. Fair trade is a certification that means that there are ethical, sustainable, and fair conditions in the work environments of the companies that are certified. Some places that are fair trade certified are Ben & Jerry's, Rishi Tea, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, and Theo's Chocolate. The last thing you can do to stop forced labor is to donate or serve for organizations standing up against forced labor such as Anti-Slavery, End Slavery Now, and the International Labor Rights Forum.